there, how are you doing team? Nokia Powers are here and we welcome you all to a very interesting video. I have the Nokia 8.1 here and this Nokia 8.1 runs Android Q Beta 5. HMD started releasing the Android Q Beta 5 OTA to all the Nokia 8.1 enrolled to developer preview, and our device also received the update yesterday. So while the download and installation of the Android Q update is pretty easy, it's neat, but the issue is that it wipes all the data. So it's always recommended that you back up your data, then install the update, and since your data goes away, you will have to restore the data. So obviously it's wiser to back up the data. As I said, use your Google account, remember the password at least, so that you can put that password after the installation and restore the data. So once that happens, the next question is, what is new? So obviously the question comes, what has changed with Android Q? So one thing you will quickly notice is that here everything seems white wherever I see it, but if you go to display, you will notice that there is something called dark theme. So there is a system-wide dark theme that Google has brought with Android Q, and this is what was actually being demanded by all Android users since I think Android Oreo or even before that. So if you do dark theme, it enables system-wide dark theme. So now, even if you go to notification center, you go to settings, everywhere you will see everything turn to dark. So now the good news is that even if you go to the apps, even that if the developer has enabled dark theme in the app, so when you will apply this system-wide dark theme, even the apps will kind of enable the dark theme and it will start using that. Now the next feature, which is very like a major feature of Android Q, which I would like to demo, is the gesture navigation. So you may, you may have been using the gesture navigation on iOS as well, but I'll tell you that Google was trying to introduce the gesture navigation stepwise into Android. So Android Pie brought half of the gesture navigation because there was a back button, there was a home button, but Android Q kind of does away with the back button. There is no back button. As you may have seen, there is only one home, which you can see here. So there is only gesture navigation, nothing else. So it's like a step by step approach from Android Oreo to Pie. There was half of gesture navigation enabled. Now from Android Pie to Android Q, the gesture navigation is complete. So how we will go to the home screen is you have to just swipe up from the bottom. So just swiping up from the bottom brings you to the home screen. Now, if you want to go to the multitasking UI, you have to swipe up from the bottom and hold. So swiping up from the bottom and holding gives you the multitasking UI. Now, the next question to be asked is, how will I go back if I am in any application? So for going back, you can just swipe from any of the edges. So you swipe from the left edge or you swipe from the right edge, it will take you back. So there are like four major main gestures. Swiping up from the bottom takes you to the home. Swiping up from the bottom and holding gives you the multitasking UI. Then if you go to the app, for going back, you need to either swipe from the left or right. This is how it works, and so far it is working smoothly for us on our Nokia 8.1. Even the build, I think, is at least when it comes to smoothness, when it comes to the performance part, the basic performance, basic navigation, it is working quite well. It is quite smooth. Even whatever you check, the browsing part, the navigation part, etc. Everything seems quite sorted out. The only thing is that this gesture navigation takes some times to get used to. Obviously that it's very obvious that when you try, like sometimes if you try to go to the home, or you can get confused if you try to go to home or you try to do multitasking UI. So it takes some time to get adjusted to. But there is a good news. So if you go to settings, if you go to system and gestures, so at least on Nokia 8.1, I have been provided all three options, or we have been provided all three options. So this is the gesture navigation, which is the Android Q navigation, which I just demoed. If you don't like it, I mean, I will recommend that you try it. But if you don't like it, you can go for the two button navigation. This two button navigation is the same navigation that you are currently using on Android Pie. So same two button navigation with a back button that you can enable by choosing this two button navigation option. If you really don't want even this navigation, you can go for even three button navigation. So this brings the Oreo navigation back with back, home, and multitasking UI. So this is good that at least HMD and Google have provided these three options for navigation. But obviously, I'll recommend you to go for the gesture navigation, because this is what Android Q, I think, should be known for. Because if somebody asks what are like the major features or major visual changes which Android Q brings, so obviously the navigation is one. Then we have this system-wide dark theme that comes with this. Okay, now coming to one of the important questions, as I told that the navigation with Android Q has been quite smooth for us. We saw that even the performance seems quite good. The build seems sorted out, but yes, we have faced some issues. So when we installed this update, after that, there were like a couple of times we saw that, device was not responding when we needed to restart. So after restarting couple of times, since then the device has actually performed well. We have not again faced those kind of issues. So maybe if you are facing any issue with the build after installing it, you may rather try to get like a restart, do a restart, and then it may start working fine. So that's what we will recommend. Now coming to other changes that we could see. So if you go to the settings, you can already see that there are like lots of icons have changed. There are like lots of changes in the icons. They look different, they look nicer, I think, in a way that it looks bit more consistent than it used to appear on Android Pie. But I mean that since this is a subjective thing, so you may think different, but to me it looks more consistent. Now there are changes that actually arrive in digital well-being. So digital well-being on Android Q brings two changes. There's one new kind of feature which is called focus mode. So focus mode actually allows you to choose few of the apps that you don't want to disturb you at certain times. So let's say you want to study that, like if you are a student, you have your examination there and you want to study focused for next 1 hour, you can choose apps that you don't want you to disturb, and you can just go to, so I chose four apps, and I can just do focus mode turn on. So it will now, so focus mode is on, and these distracting apps are paused. So these apps would not be able to send you any kind of notification if this focus mode is on. So this is one change, or like one new feature that digital well-being brings. Another change is in parental control. So parental control allows this a kind of, you want to actually control what your child actually uses and for what time he's allowed to use. So if you go to parental control, then it gives you a family link app. So with this family link app, you can actually create a Google account for your child, and you can actually put settings as to how much he can use the kind of this device, for what time it will be used, and after that certain time limit will the device will get locked. So in a way you are controlling the device uses by your child. So these are like main features or visual features that uh, this Android Q brings. We tested one more thing, this screencast. So with Android Q, we try to uh, cast screen to our laptop, and frankly speaking, it works very very fine. So this is very good because we did not need to do any developer setting, and it was working fine. So it just goes to our laptop, and you can actually try this and check and tell us if it works for you. But it is working for us, and the screen mirroring is just working fine without doing any developer option changes. So that is great actually. So apart from that, if I go to notifications, I would like to, I mean, because I think this is important that you can see what are the changes in the notification. So you can see the notification count is now mentioned here. If there are lots of notifications from, let's say, Twitter, there are many notifications. So the count is mentioned here. And if I go to the settings, okay, let's me go to the settings of the navigation notifications. Then you see new options. So prioritizing the notification, putting it as gentle, and turning off the notification. So what you choose, so that will be provided here. And if you come here to the advanced, so you can again, I mean, see the all the settings here. And also there is one more thing. Okay, let me go quickly there. So I think there are no notification that I can show it to you, but it also allows you to use smart reply. So notifications now, I mean, if developer allows it, enables it, they will allow you to do a smart reply. You can reply from here itself. So that is how, I mean, it works so fine. So in a way, it is again kind of enhancing your user experience, making it better. Okay, so with that, we come to end of the Android Q demo on Nokia 8.1. As we said, the build seems fine in terms of performance, in terms of smoothness, navigation-wise, it's good. We just try to demo the major features of Android Q that we see here. If there are any features which I have not demoed, I'll try to make another video and I can cover that. I mean, but in case if you want to, I mean, know what kind of bugs and issues you may face, so as I told, we faced some issues. So when device was not responding, it became kind of non-responsive. So we needed to restart using our power button. But after 2 or 3 restarts, it has worked fine. So I mean, depends. If you don't want to kind of like continue in Android Q, you can do a rollback to Android 5, and that you can do by going to the uh, going to the developer preview page and just requesting for it. So with that, we come to end of this video where we have tried to demo the major features and we try to share our experience of Android Q. Hope you have liked the video. Stay tuned to nokiapauser.com and Nokia Pauser YouTube channel for more. Thanks for watching.